Hey you guys, I hope you're all doing well. If you're tuning in for the first time, thank you so much for clicking in, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome to the family. It's like a safe place where you can learn things about Qatar, you can learn how to do your makeup, you can become a cabin crew, you can learn everything. Anyway, I'm here to talk about living in Qatar, things you might like and the things you might not like as a new expat in Qatar. If you're on that journey of moving to Qatar, then you better sit down and watch this video till the end because it's going to be very helpful. I'm not talking about the tourists, but I'm going to do another video about tourism as well. If you're planning to come to Qatar as a tourist, Qatar is a very beautiful country, so please come and visit Qatar. People are praying. I think I should just wait. I don't know how long it normally takes for them to do the prayers. It's 5, yeah, it's almost 6, it's 10 minutes to 5, so I think because it's Ramadan. So in case you want to learn a lot of things about makeup, please go and follow me on my Instagram page. I'm going to link it down here. So I do a lot of makeup videos, and today I did a makeup reel, and I decided why not film my YouTube video at the same time, because why not? I like being creative, and I like when you guys get to, you know, see the other side of me. Like today I can come here with makeup, tomorrow without makeup. Like I just love being myself. Anyway, enough of that talking. I was trying to chit chat with you guys so that the prayers can, you know. Anyway, I respect that. Let's go back to our topic of today. So if you're planning to move to Qatar with a job or living in Qatar, maybe you are coming here to, you know, join your spouse, or, you know, if you're coming here to join your, you know, your parents, if your parents are living in Qatar, and you want to know how life is in Qatar and the things you might like and the things you might dislike. I know this country is very beautiful, but there are some things, even me personally, I don't like them. Like there are some other things that I don't like. Most probably you might be on the same basket with me. Comment down below if you live in Qatar and these are some of the things that you personally don't like, because whatever I've shared down here is from my own experience. Anyway, one of the things that I love about living in Qatar, let's start with the positive things. And by the way, did I tell you guys to subscribe? Did I? Probably I forgot. Anyway, if you're stopping by for the first time, there is a red button down below. Please make sure you click it, because 90% of you are watching my videos without subscribing, which is not fair. Like, nah. So please be sure to subscribe. Press the notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a video. Exactly. So now that you have subscribed, let's continue with our video. One of the things that I love about Qatar is the living condition. Like, wow, especially if you come, okay, this is for those people who come to Qatar with company. If you're coming here alone, then the situation might be different. So I'm talking from my own experience, because the way I came here, I came through a company. So if you're coming here with a company that is offering you accommodation, transportation, and food, like, imagine going to a new country and then you're being offered a nice accommodations, because most of the companies in Qatar, they will give you like a shared room where you will share with someone. Some company will give you a studio apartment, some companies will give you like a 1-bedroom apartment. Like, most people get accommodation if you are coming here with a company. The company will sponsor your flight ticket, the company will sponsor you accommodation, the company will sponsor you transportation while you're working here. They will also offer you food allowance. Yeah, I can clearly say that the living condition here is very good. Even if a company is not offering you all these things and you're, you know, on your own, like let's say they're just giving you the job and you're going to get yourself your own accommodation. In general, the living condition in Qatar is amazing, is on another level. And on my next point, I'm going to talk about what I dislike is, and by the way, this is not about Qatar as a country, but some companies here, they can make your living condition in this country horrible. If I say horrible, I really mean it. Like, some people will come here with a job and the company don't even care about their living condition. Like, they need this, they need to be in a, in a good environment, things like that. But that depends on company to company. It's not like a general thing, because from what I know with the Qatar government, they have rules like a company has to follow, but then some of the companies, they don't even care, and that's something personally I really don't like, because you meet people who will tell you about their living condition and you'll be like, no way. If you are here and you are living in a very good environment, in general, Qatar is very beautiful, but at the end of the day, it depends with the company that brought you here. But if the company is not offering you like accommodation, then you are on your own, so you can choose where you want to live, the living condition that you want to be, the environment that you want to be, and you have option depending on your pocket. So if you have money, then you can live in a good area, but if you don't have money, then you have to go and squeeze yourself somewhere. At the end of the day, you just have to find somewhere to live, because in Qatar there are no beggars on the road. They are not. I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but personally I've never seen beggars on the road in Qatar. That should even tell you about the living condition in Qatar. Comment down below if you've ever seen any beggars on the road. Personally, I've never seen someone begging on the road in Qatar. I've never seen people shelter across the road because they don't have a place to live. And that's why I was saying the Qatar government rules are very tight. So if your company is bringing you here, then you have a right for a good living condition. So before you sign any contract with a company, make sure you know where you are going to live. Another point is the mode of transportation. This is one of the things that I will say that I really like. Personally, I love using, when I was living in Qatar, I used to like using taxis, because those are the only means of transport here before. Now that Qatar has a metro, and you can find this metro like I think every area that you're living, there has to be a metro. The only place that I know that doesn't have a metro is Al Khor. It's the only place that I know that you cannot access a metro station, and it's quite far. The end of, it's like going to Saudi Arabia. So those are the only place you cannot access the metro. So what I'm trying to say is the means of transportation in Qatar is available anywhere, and you can choose to use a cheaper means of transport. You can choose to use a luxurious means of transport. You can choose to use, something affordable, like something you can afford. So one of the cheapest means of transport is train. You can find train like every neighborhood in Qatar. You can find train. And another cheapest means of transport, this I found it even when I came to Qatar the first time, is the bus. The bus is always available for any area. If you're living in any area in Qatar, there's always a bus, but you have to be patient if you're using a bus, because they have timing. You have to check every now and then on the app if the bus is passing anytime soon. But for the train is always available to access, but sometimes you might find that you're living a distance from the train station, so you either take a bus to the train station and then go where you are. So the means of transport is very flexible, very easy, and very affordable. That's if you're using the train station and you're using the bus. On the other hand, there is taxis everywhere. There are these government taxis which are called Karwa, and there is also Uber. And you can choose to use Uber or use the Karwa taxis, which for me, I can say Qatar taxis can be very expensive. You can choose to use Uber. Still, Uber can be expensive, so you have a choice of using the train. So the means of transport is accessible and affordable depending on your lifestyle. If you are on a high standard lifestyle, then you can choose to use the taxis, but if you are on a low budget, then you have a choice to use the train or the buses. Something else I will say about what I don't like about the means of transport in Qatar is everyone is driving, so expect to see traffic, especially in the morning and in the evening. I think this is basically like all over the world. Most places in the world, they usually have traffic, but because Qatar is a very small country and most of the people are driving here, so expect to see traffic in the morning and in the evening. But I cannot say if that's something that you might not like, because you have a choice of using the train. We can opt to use the train, but probably if you are someone who don't like traffic, especially in the morning, then you might encounter that, because Qatar is a very small country, and like I said, most of people are driving here, so expect to see that. Another thing that you might like about living in Qatar is salary expectation. But this, you might either like it or dislike it. But from where I come from, I can say that I really love it, because one thing I know for sure, in Qatar, your salary is not taxed. Whatever you work for, you get it in a full amount. If you're coming from a country that your salary is always taxed, if you come to Qatar, just know that whatever you work for, you'll get the full amount. They don't tax your salary here, but they might tax your money when you're going to buy things at the shop, but they don't tax your salary. Also, salary expectation, it can be high depending on where you come from. Like if you're coming from an African country or Asian country or even European country, or the US or Canada, you might realize that you might be getting paid higher if you're living in Qatar compared to the money that you've been earning in your country. Let's say in Canada, because those are the countries that I know they tax people a lot, or in European countries, even in Kenya, but I can't compare with the countries like Canada. Let's say you work in Canada and you come to work in Qatar. Mind you, you might even earn more in Qatar, and then your salary is not taxed on top of it. Like, how cool is that? How cool is that? But something else that I really don't like about salary expectation in Qatar is most company, and this is not about Qatar again, so don't come at me on the comment section. Most company will pay you depending on your nationality, and that is so bad, and that's something I didn't like, especially with the company that I was working with before. I came to realize, like, colleagues I was working with, we do the same job, but we don't get paid the same. Like, I was cleaning dishes, and I was wiping tables, and I was carrying plates with these people. We do the same job, and then they get paid more than me depending on their passport, which for me, I actually don't find it to be, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would you pay me less than someone else when we do the same job? Like, why? So be aware of that. If you're planning to relocate to Qatar, just know these are the things that you might encounter. One day in your company, just try and ask your colleagues, like, how much are you getting a month? And you're doing the same job, you realize that you guys are not getting paid the same. Yeah. So your passport is very important. If you are holding a British passport, if you're holding a Canadian passport, if you're holding a US passport, if you're holding a European passport, like let's say the 27 Schengen countries, then there's high chances that your salary will always be higher than other people. This is all about companies, it's not about Qatar. At the end of the day, also, there are some companies that pay their colleagues the same salary depending on your job department. So if you're working there as a doctor and they're working there as a doctor, you guys are going to be paid the same. So this, whatever I've just mentioned now about getting paid depending on your nationality, it depends with the company itself, because one of the biggest company like Qatar Airways, they pay their staff the same. If you're working there as a cabin crew and you're from the US and I am Kenyan, we are going to get paid the same, and that's how it's supposed to be. So why other companies are doing this? So if you're coming here, probably you might not like that, but that's what's up. Yeah. Nothing to worry about. As long as you're getting paid more compared to what you are getting paid in your country, then you better get used to it. We got used to it anyway, so it's fine. Something else that you will love about living in Qatar is safety. Like, if I tell you how safe Qatar is, you can even decide and wake up at 2 a.m. at night and say, I just want to go outside and walk. You can just, I don't know, carry your money like this in an open way. Like, someone can see that they are carrying millions and no one will take that money from you. You can walk wearing jewelries, like all gold jewelries. Like, you can just leave your phone somewhere and you might come and find that phone. I didn't say go and leave your phone in a public place where there are no cameras, because the reason I'm saying this, that Qatar is very safe, is because cameras are everywhere. Like, everywhere you go in Qatar, there are cameras. And there are cameras on the walls, but there are also cameras, people watching you. Securities are everywhere in Qatar. But even that, still, Qatar is a place that you can wake up at 2 a.m. as a woman and say that I want to go out, and you will come back home and no one will do anything to you. Qatar is a place that you can say that is safe for women. From where I come from, as a woman, I cannot just decide in the middle of the night I'm going outside to walk, or I'm in a place that is not safe and I'm walking alone as a woman. No. But in Qatar, it's very safe. For us women, they try to protect women here, especially if someone does something to you. If you come to Qatar, even as a tourist, or if you're living here as a woman, if anyone tried to do something to you and you just call the police, or you just try and go to any nearest police station, or just try to bring the attention that this person, I feel like I'm not safe around this person, then immediately that thing is being taken care of immediately. That's how safe Qatar is. Like, that's something I love about Qatar. But on the other hand, I can say the safety and everything, it's safe and all that. Another thing you might not like as a woman, especially women of color, you might draw attention of those crazy men. Men are still men. They'll always look at you. They'll always try to get your attention. So for me, I wouldn't say that that's not safe, but I would say that you might not like that if you come to Qatar, because if you're a woman of color like me, just expect that people will stare at you. Yeah, the other gender will stare at you. Some of them will even try to get your attention, but that doesn't mean that they will harm you or they will do something to you. At the end of the day, if you not feel comfortable, like if this person is trying to tell you something, or if they are trying to touch you or something like that, there's always police around every area in Qatar. There's always cameras everywhere. Like, you always feel safe as long as you just tell them, leave me alone, and they don't stop, then you can report them to any nearest police or anyone who can assist you anywhere. So for me, that's something I got used to it, and I know how to live with it here. So you might not like it though. Something else you might like about living in Qatar is a family friendly environment. Like, if you are planning to relocate here with your family and you're thinking like, okay, if I go there with my family, is it a family friendly environment, or am I going to be okay there living with my family? Like, remove those thoughts. Qatar is a family friendly environment. Like, you can come here and live with your family very, very happy and feel very safe. Like, you will find everything here: education, hospital, jobs, like, name it. And so in case you got a job in Qatar and you want to move here with your wife or your husband or your kids, and you're thinking, okay, will my kids get a school, will my my wife get a job, will my wife be okay living here, or if my children will be okay living here. Don't let that fear hold you back. Carry your bags and come, because it's a very family friendly country where you can come here with your family and feel very safe, feel like you can have everything because of the living condition, especially if you're coming here with a family and the company is sponsoring you, because some companies, they will sponsor you, your family, especially if you're working with companies like Qatar Airways, Qatar Energy, those big companies. Then they're going to take the responsibility of taking care of your family as well. So if you're thinking about living here or moving here with your family, then this is a place for you. Something else you might like is Qatar is very organized with everything from the airport. Once you arrive here, you realize like everything is organized, especially from the airport. Wow. Have you seen Hamad Airport? Then you better travel to Qatar to see it. From the airport, Qatar is well organized. The airport is very beautiful, very clean, very organized stuff. Like, you come from here, you go here. I don't know how to say this, because I'm just trying to compare this with my country and other countries that I've visited. The airports, Qatar is very organized. It's very welcoming. Like, everything you are looking for, a supermarket, there it is. You're looking for security, there it is. You're looking for information center, there it is. You're looking for, I don't know, someone to assist you, there is the person. You're looking for, I don't know what. Everything is just organized, very, very organized. And there is no way you will say, okay, I'm going to, bribe this person so that I can do this. There's nothing like that. And the best part about it is, most of the people who work in the kind of places, like, in the airport, in the immigration, are the locals. So it's very easy, and because they don't want anything from you. So once you get there, everything is organized. If you're doing this 1 2 3, everything is just like that, very organized. Then you arrive and you come inside Qatar. From the airport, again, taxis, they are there waiting for you. You can choose to take the taxi, you can choose to take the train at the airport. There's taxis outside there. So everything is organized. And if you go to hospital, if you go to the bank, if you go to all these official places, if you go to the supermarket, if you go to the malls, like, you'll just realize like everything is organized, like things are in place. And they have cameras everywhere you'll find cameras in Qatar. That's something, for me, I really love. I won't say that I dislike any of those. I really love everything about how they organize their things here, because we don't get that in my country. We actually don't. You might go to the bank, you came there early, someone came there after you, they will be attended before you. You can understand what I'm trying to say. So probably those are the things you might like if you move here to Qatar. So another thing you might like about living in Qatar is the cost of living. But this also depends on where you come from and how much you're going to get paid here. Let's go back to what I was talking about. Let's say you are coming from Canada, where your salary is being taxed. When you go to the supermarket, most of the things are being taxed there. At the end of the day, you don't get to save your money. But if you come to Qatar, you realize that your salary is not taxed, and most of the time, most of the things at the supermarket are not taxed as well. So at the end of the day, you realize the cost of living for you might be, friendly compared to someone who is getting paid less here. They might find it different, because the cost of living might be very, very high for them. Because if you're getting paid like 2,000 riyals and you're supposed to buy food here, and by the way, food can be expensive. I'm talking from my own experience, because someone else might say that, okay, the cost of living is good, because whatever they're paying, like the house that they are renting here, is affordable for them compared to what they are paying in their country. And that's why I'm saying that this depends on where you are coming from. Most of the time I hear people saying that renting in UK is very expensive if they try to compare with Qatar. Like, renting here is affordable. For me, in the end, I will say renting in Kenya is affordable compared to Qatar. Like the place that I'm living now, I can get the exact place with whatever I'm paying here. I'm paying like 10 times like what I was supposed to pay in Kenya. So you can see the math. Me on my side, I wouldn't say that the cost of living is good for my side, because at the end of the day you have to buy food, at the end of the day you have to eat, you have to dress, you have to send money back home, you have to pay your rent here. So if you try to compare the two, they will not add up. But this depends also with the salary that you're getting, because you might find a Kenyan who works in Qatar Airways or who works in a company that pays them good. Whatever they earn there, they can save, they can pay their rent, even though they will be paying higher rent here. But at least if they try to compare, they can save. At the end of the day is how much you save. The cost of living also depends on where you are coming from. Most people always say that the cost of living in Qatar for them is at least affordable. But if you ask me from where I come from, I will tell you no way is affordable for me, because even the taxes, whatever I pay here, I will not pay the same thing in Kenya. If I go to the supermarket, whatever I pay for milk or eggs, it's not the same what I will pay in Kenya. Housing, doing like the girlies things, like going to the salon, doing your hair and all those things is not affordable. At the end, it depends on where you're coming from. Last but not least is job availability. That's one thing I really like, that there are jobs available in Qatar. You might like that if you come here, you have options of choosing from here to there. Of course, at the end of the day you work on contracts, but at least you can choose to work here, there. Like, there are jobs available, also depending on your career, because some careers is very hard to find a job here, some careers is very easy to find a job here. But at the end, there are jobs. At least you can go online and you can see, okay, there are jobs. But something that you might not like is, and that's something also personally I don't like, is most companies in Qatar prefer hiring certain nationalities. You might find that, okay, you have experience of that job and you go for that interview, and then when you get there, let's say I am there as a Kenyan and then there's like a Filipino. Most companies, they always say, especially if now you go online, believe me, I'm talking from experience, you might find a company saying preferable Filipino, preferable Kenyan, preferable Indian, preferable British, preferable Canadian, preferable. For me, I actually don't like, but most of the time it's always preferable Filipino. So you can see there are jobs availability in Qatar, but in the end, the company prefer certain nationalities to work for them. So at the end of the day, a lot of people are jobless because the jobs are there, yes, but this company prefer certain nationality. For me, I find it to be weird, because I have the experience. Why don't you give me the job? Why would you prefer the other person? Of course, I know every company has their standard, but it's not nice. It's really not nice. And that's why it's very hard for most people here to change jobs, because everyone is scared. If I leave my job and I'm looking for another job, I might not end up getting the same job. But don't let that stop you. If you're good at something, then fight for it. If you're good at something, then fight for it, because you might find some companies will prefer your services. So don't let that fear hold you back. Don't let that fear hold you back. So that is one of the things that you might hate here about job availability. Yes, there are jobs, but you can see some company prefer certain nationalities, and it's not good. This will be my last point. Is something that you might like about Qatar is health. Healthcare here is amazing, really amazing. For every company here in Qatar, they are provided with this health card which they give their staffs. So if you have that health card, then you can always go to hospital for free of charge. It only depends if there are certain medicine that you need to buy, or there are certain surgeries that you need to do, or if it's a very complicated sickness, then there's it's just small money that you'll have to pay. But the healthcare here is really good. They actually take care of people. If you're sick, they do take care of people here, especially if you're suffering from cancer. So guys, those are some of the things that you might like, and the ones that I've mentioned that you might dislike. Living condition in Qatar, means of transportations and salary expectations, safety, family friendly country, how well organized Qatar is, the cost of living, job availability, and health. If you're planning to relocate to Qatar and you want to know how life is in Qatar, like how am I going to live there, how are the job availability, the cost of living, health, and what else, education, and mode of transportation, like all those things, I've tried to talk about them. So I hope you've watched this video till the end. I've tackled everything. I've shared the dislike and like, so you can choose which one to pick from. So at the end of the day, whatever I like, you might dislike. Whatever you like, I might dislike it. So it's always negative and positive. So guys, I hope I've tried to help someone out there. If you are questioning about relocating to Qatar, then these are some of the things that you really need to know. You can ask me any question on the comment section. Anything that you want to know about Qatar, please put it on the description box. I'm going to reply to you. I'm going to even reply to you on a video, whichever way that I'm going to find it flexible for me. I'm going to do it. And thank you for the support, for those of you who have been supporting me. And if you haven't subscribed, please press that red button, let it change to gray. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I hope you've watched this video till the end, and if you did, be sure to do all the good stuff, share, like, do all the good stuff, and I hope to see you on my next one. Bye.